In this example, we're going to look at prime and composite numbers. Specifically, we're going to determine all of the prime numbers less than 20. So let's review the definitions of what it means to be a prime number. A prime number is a whole number greater than 1 whose factor pairs are only the number itself and 1. So remember, every whole number has 1 in itself as a factor pair. A prime number is a number greater than 1 that doesn't have any other factors besides 1 in itself. A composite number is basically a number that's not prime, that's a whole number greater than 1. So a composite number is a whole number greater than 1 which has at least one factor other than itself and 1. So notice that it says here the whole number greater than 1, so we consider 1 is neither prime nor composite. Okay. So by these definitions, since we're only looking at whole numbers greater than 1, we don't consider 1 prime or composite. We start with the number 2 to determine whether a number is prime or composite. So let's look at the next slide. So we're going to use this National Library of Virtual Manipulative site to determine all the prime numbers less than 20, and the link is right here if you want to visit it, and the screen is going to basically look like this. So let's take a look. So here are all the numbers between 1 and 20 or 2 and 20. 1 is left out because it's not prime or composite. Okay. So now notice 2, well, the only numbers less than it, or whole numbers less than it, then is 1. So 2 is prime because its only factorization is 1 times 2. So 2 is prime. And notice when I clicked on 2, all of these numbers disappeared. Okay? And the reason is, if 2 is prime, 4 is 2 times 2, 6 is 2 times 3, 8 is 2 times 4. So all of these even numbers are going to be composite because they have 2 as a factor. So now let's click on this and remove its multiples. So these are our only candidates for numbers less than 20 that are prime. Okay? So notice they're all odd, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're prime. We're going to see that some of them have factors besides 1 in themselves. Now looking at 3, well, 3 isn't divisible by 2, it's not even, and if it was, it would have canceled out when we removed all the multiples of 2. So 3 is prime. Now, when I click on 3, any remaining multiples of 3, or numbers that have a factor of 3, are going to be removed. So notice 6 is already gone, which is 2 times 3, because it was divisible by 2. 9 is 3 times 3, so that's going to be removed. This will be a composite. And 15 is 3 times 5, so that will be removed. So let's click on 3. Those two numbers are removed. And now we have these remaining numbers. Well, now 5, if it was divisible by 2 or 3, it would have been removed in the process of removing the multiples. So it's prime. None of the remaining numbers are divisible by 5, so they're all still candidates. Okay. 7 is not divisible by any of the numbers less than it, or else it would have been removed. Multiples of 7, like 14 and 21, have already been removed by the previous numbers. Our next number is 11. It's also prime. Okay, it's not divisible by any of the numbers less than it. 13, 17, and 19, these are all prime because they're not multiples of any of these previous numbers. So notice when I clicked on these, none of these were moved. So these are our first prime numbers, the numbers less than 20. So let's go back and write what we were left with. So let's highlight them. So we saw 2 was prime. When we clicked on 2, it canceled out all these composite numbers that are multiples of 2. We have 3 is prime. Then it would cancel out any multiples of 3. We already canceled out 6, but I'll just cancel it again. 9, 12, 15, 18. So any number that's crossed out is composite. It has 2 or 3 as a factor. Okay. When we clicked on 5, 5 is prime. Okay. There were no remaining numbers that were multiples of 5 that we already canceled out. 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19. These were all prime numbers because they had no factors besides 1 in themselves. So, the prime numbers less than 20 are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19.